scoring as well. That's why Korver's on the floor.
Oh, nice move by Rose. And a foul. Foul committed by Haslem. He thought that it should be a charge on Rose.
Look at the end of that. He might have slid right underneath Derrick Rose. See the ankles that he sprained in that Indiana series, and that was like that's pretty good position there by Haslem.
Well, he was definitely outside the arc. The question is, was he leaning left? And that's such a tough call, especially with a guy like Rose who contorts his body in the air. And this is one of those 50-50 calls that can go either way. I think he's moving in. He kind of slides underneath.
Well, this is the situation Miami finds itself in. This is the kind of game you want to be and created with your defense. Now it's time for LeBron James and Dwayne Wade to take this game over offensively. We know they can control it defensively, but more so offensively to put this team on its back.
Miami with a 2-point lead, 8.5 to play in the fourth. Heat try to tie the series. Bulls try to go in front, 2-zip. Haslem is a fourth shot, but the clock running down. They're back on their feet here at the United Center. Dang, trying to go baseline, lost it. And the ball was deflected out of bounds. Last touch by Dang.
Two great defenses right now. Both teams making stops, making it very difficult on the other to score. And Tom Thibodeau sticking with Gibson and Asik, and I like it. I mean, they are really playing right now.
I'm not quite sure. I might bring Noah back right about now. You might need his energy.
Nice play by Asik as Wade on the run. Had it knocked away, lost control. Last touch by Wade.
Well, this is what Asik does. He makes you think about it. Gibson does the same thing. Wade loses the ball on the way up.
That's a pretty bad call right there. That looked like that was all Miami Heat ball.
Guys are tough on the refrigerator here tonight.
It's playoff basketball, Marv. Margin of error is very small here.
And let's be honest, they have the toughest job in sports. I mean, officiating.
I knew you'd come back to that.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Just thought I'd throw that out there.
The toughest job in sports. It's too late for that.
Too late.
Bad pass. Picked off by Haslem.
Oh, another turnover.
Miscommunication there. He thought he had a teammate to his left.
Well, it's interesting. We talked about this. Haslem has now been on the floor, I want to say, about 12, 13 straight minutes.
23 in total.
Yeah, I know. I thought we'd see Joel Anthony in the ballgame to start the fourth quarter, but Spoelstra riding Haslem. How much does he have left in the tank?
Anthony sitting down after picking up a fourth foul. Rose with the setup for Gibson, and again, Taj Gibson providing energy. It's a 17-6 run by the Bulls, and they tied the game.
He was such a quick leaper, an explosive jumper.
Good job by Dang once again on James. Haslem. Korver with the rebound out.
He's tired.
Yeah. Well, the Bulls do not mind seeing Udonis Haslem taking jump shots.
Especially now, because he's tired. He's been out there for so long. He's exhausted.
Korver for three. Back tap by Asik, and he came over the top, called for the foul.
This is a time when both coaches need to go to their bullpen. They need some fresh bodies out here.
The bullpen.
I think especially Miami. I mean, I think the Bulls look like the fresher team. Gibson and Asik are bringing it. And Gibson with a terrific finish. Miami wanted a violation here for hanging on the rim. And he did linger there for a second. Very close call.
Conan at 11 on TBS. At 11. What? Conan, TBS. Very funny.
Conan's all new weeknights at 11 on TBS. Very funny.
If you opened your own burger place, would you use a greasy fryer and an assembly line? Or a custom flame broiler and a little culinary collaboration? Yeah, that's what we thought back in 1954 and every day since. Whopper, come have it.
My new Windows phone can go from my pocket to taking a picture in seconds. What up, Dave? I just point, shoot, and post to Facebook. So instead of fumbling to open my camera app like Dave here, I can put my phone away and open my parachute. Open yours, Dave! Hey, is it cool if I date Emily when you're... Never mind.
Get a Samsung Focus with Office, Xbox Live, and thousands of apps. $49.99.
In the 4 games against the Bulls this season, the Heat had problems in the third quarter. They got past that tonight. However, Miami, a team that has had all kinds of difficulties down the stretch, as you can see by those numbers, particularly in the final minutes of games.
So the last 9 minutes and 20 seconds, no points from LeBron James and Dwayne Wade.
Now keep in mind, despite that fact, and the numbers we just looked at, they were very effective against Boston in the last 2 games that closed that series out. They closed those games extremely well.
Wade off the fake, try to bank it. Korver chasing down off the save. It is deflected. Well, Korver stepped out. It was not a clean save, so it will be Miami ball. Despite the fact we saw those numbers, that's not to say Miami cannot finish out effectively here tonight, but Chicago has outscored them 17-6. Miami with just 6 points the last 9 minutes of play. 1 of 6 from the field here in the 4th. James had nowhere to go. Facing a triple team as a wall set up by the Bulls. Now James on a cross. Oh, what a play. Wade is rejected by a flick. Wade turned back by Omer Asik. Rose had it knocked away. Just under 6 to play in the 4th. Now Rose faces a double momentarily. Shot clock to 3, 2. Rose comes up with air. And it's handled by Miller.
I'd like to see Chicago get Rose and Korver involved in the pick and roll so that you've got Mike Miller guarding against Rose on that pick and roll rather than LeBron or Dwayne Wade.
Anthony, who just came on, sets the pick. Fox. Korver is on.
And both of these teams are fighting with each other for all these offensive and defensive rebounds. Talk about the number 1 and 2 defensive teams in the league.
Dang with the fake. Wade knocked it aside. Dang recovers. Gibson. Rebounded by Miller. Now Miami's big 3 have not scored the last 10.5 minutes. Eric Stafford indicating that Omer Asik has some blood. Looks like under his chin.
Boy, look at that. What's coming out of there?
It looked like that might have been on that time Dwayne Wade drove to the basket here and got blocked by the Asik wall there.
And I thought that may have been a foul, but this is what Asik does. He stays high, and when you keep your hands high, the officials will give you the benefit of the doubt. It looks like Wade is also bleeding, so both trainers getting some work in here right now. And it's turned into a slugfest right now. I mean, neither side can score. Both defenses just latching down.
Both teams need cut men.
Yeah.
This is great. We bring in boxing analogies all the time, but in this particular case, rightfully so.
And if Joakim Noah is going to help his team win the game, he's got to bring some energy. He's been on the bench for about probably 12, 13 minutes straight, and we know how emotional he is. He really hasn't gotten into the flow here. But he's got to find his game quickly because Asik was really anchoring this Bulls defense.
So Noah checks back in. And we talked about this a moment ago. The big 3, 0 for 5 from the field in the 4th quarter after solid play in the first three quarters.
This is a team that struggles with half-court execution. Miami has all year. It's not in their DNA to get a lot of misdirection and ball movement. They're a pick-and-roll team. They're an ISO team, and it plays right into the Bulls' hands. Pat Riley looking on very concerned, but Miami has to get some motion offensively away from the ball.
And they were trying to make a sub for Mike Miller, bringing in Joel Anthony, but because it was the blood rule, you cannot make a substitution. So they're bringing back Mike Miller.
I think he may have subbed in already when he was similar to what we saw in L.A., Mark, when the L.A.-Dallas series, when Andrew Bynum had subbed in, and then he tried to go back off the floor. I think that's the case. They walked out onto the floor and supposed to change his mind. He wanted Bibby out there.
Looks like O'Keefe was taken back to the Bulls locker room for repairs. Now 22nd timeout is called by Miami head coach Eric Spoelstra. See the blood on the arm of Dwayne Wade.
Now the pressure is on the Miami training staff. Get that blood stopped because they need Wade on the floor.
Game tied at 73, 4:36 to play in the fourth.
What will your Disney memory be?
Resume after the timeout called by Miami. Looks like he's making a switch with the arm sleeve to cover up the area that drew blood.
And the official, the other 9 players are on the floor right now. Everybody waiting on Dwayne Wade. The officials allowing Wade a little extra time, and here he comes.
Very generous of the officials to do that. Very easily could have been a delay of game for Miami. Wayne gets a little truckle with head coach Tom Thibodeau.
Miami now 2 timeouts left. Chicago with 2 full and a 20. The Heat over the limit. Here's James for 3. Yes! LeBron James from downtown. That's his first field goal of this fourth quarter. Rose forced it. He was double teamed, had nowhere to go. It's a 3-point Heat lead. Big shot hit by James.
But they're trying to put Kyle Korver in the pick and roll here. And Deng doesn't want to switch with Korver because that's going to put him on LeBron James.
Deng running into Bibby, picks up his 3rd foul.
Well, how many big 3-pointers did LeBron James hit in games 4 and 5 against Boston? There you see the foul. But LeBron has a renewed confidence in that 3-point stroke. And it's been apparent the last couple of weeks. He shot that one without a doubt. That was impressive.
James with 23 points. Wade. Bibby, 2 on the shot clock. James able to get it off. Got to force it. Deng getting down toward the hurry. Has Bibby in front of him. Good job by Bibby to stop Deng. And the ball is picked up by Wade. Crowd wanted a foul, but I thought Mike Bibby had great position there. James set the pick for Wade. Wade was picked up by Deng. Shot clock down to 3. There's the pump fake. James. And he thought he was fouled. LeBron James with a 3 and the 2. 5 consecutive points. Miami up 78-73 with 3:14 left in the fourth.
LeBron James and Dwayne Wade, really in this fourth period, you haven't seen much offensively, but you see the long 3 by James, and here's the last bucket, little pump fake. You get Rose in the air. Nice finish there by LeBron.
Trust each other right now. Right? Trust. Defensively, more energy, no second shots. Way to compete. It's going to be endurance, mental and physical right now.
That's a battle of attrition. I mean, it's 8-7 in the fourth quarter in favor of Chicago. Both teams exhausted. Korver with the 3, and he can't get it to go.
Whoa, good look. Chicago without a point over the last 4 minutes. A 3 by James, followed by a 2-point jump shot, and Miami has a 5-point lead. That's a Traveling violation called on LeBron James.
Now, one of the things that's going on right now, Kyle Korver on the floor for offense. He has to guard Mike Bibby. So that means Derrick Rose is having to guard either James or Wade. And so Miami trying to take advantage of that. We saw James get a couple of shots to go with Rose on him.
Bulls just 3 of 19 from downtown. In contrast to their terrific shooting from three-point territory on Sunday night. It counts on the foul. Gibson from Rose, and Gibson will go to the line.
How did Taj Gibson get this one to go? I'm wondering, was it blocked into the hoop? Derrick Rose goes baseline, gets a step on LeBron James. There's Gibson right there with 3 red jerseys around him. Look at the strength. It gets blocked, and yeah, it might have went in with the backhand of, was that Joel Anthony?
Foul on Wade, his third. Gibson looking for the three-point play. Just under 70% at the line during the season. Battle for that loose ball. Noah tried to tie it up with Fox, but Miami is on it with 2:20 to go in the fourth, and the Heat up by 3.
15 of 26 free throws for Chicago in this game.
Wade played by Rose. And Wade draws the foul. That's number 4 on Noah.
Good call from the officials. The crowd doesn't like it, but Noah reached in, and he had Wade right where he wanted him. Wade picks up his dribble. There's nowhere to go, and then the reach right here all over the wrist. Easy call for the referee.
That's when you got to get big. When you're knowing you got a guy stopped as lethal as Dwayne Wade is, you get big with that 6'11", 7-foot frame.
That's why the loss of Asik was pretty big, because Asik is the guy who always stays high with those hands and doesn't reach in.
Asik back on the bench, required stitches on his chin. Dwayne Wade, the hometown product here in the booth from the crowd as he hits on both.
Kind of a half-hearted move, though, isn't it? I mean, he's a local kid. They love him.
You're saying the uncertainty?
Yeah. You don't really want to do it.
Dang, able to keep that pass alive and then stripped. LeBron James with the steal. Just under 2 minutes to play here in the fourth. Miami in possession, up by 5. Trying to tie the series at 1 apiece.
Nothing here would really put a chokehold on this game.
All right, here's James. James with the rebound and the putback. LeBron James has come up strong down the stretch. He's given the Heat an 82-75 lead. LeBron had 25 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. Bulls having difficulty finding a shot. Rose forced it. Looks like Wade got a piece of it.
Just suffocating defense. Miami's so fast on the perimeter, switching everything, and just nowhere to go for Derrick Rose and the Chicago Bulls offense.
Ball's knocked away from James, but a foul on Korver.
And Miami has put Korver in this pick and roll several times, and normally you'll see Chicago do the same thing at the other end and put Bibby in the pick and roll, but they have not done that. And they've stuck to their guns here, and it's cost them.
Well, if you're Thibodeau, I don't know how long you see Korver going to the bench. If you're not going to get any points in long-range shooting from Korver, I don't know if he can play in this series.
Well, they need a scoring. I mean, you got to keep giving him a chance. He's a proven shooter. You can't just quit on him now.
Next foul will put the Bulls over the limit. Shot clock to 3, 2, James, yes! And that should do it. With 47 seconds remaining, Miami with an 84-75 lead. An 11-2 run by the Heat. 9 of those 11 points scored by LeBron James.
Well, really in this fourth period, we know who was going to score for the big three. It's been LeBron James. You see the putback there, and a couple dribbles left and just pulls up. And here's the fan. But this series is going to be tied up all even at 1-1.
Timeouts remaining. Miami with a full and a 20. Chicago has a 20-second timeout. Both clubs are over the limit. LeBron James coming through down the stretch. Sees fans starting to depart from the United Center. Another bounce-back game for LeBron. Did it against the Celtics. A 15-point game followed up by 35 and 14. Game 1 here on Sunday night. Only 5 of 15 from the field, 15 points. But he's not only scored 29 here tonight, but he has hit the big shots for Miami in the final minutes of the fourth quarter. We're down to 40 seconds to play as Dang shoots a 3. Rose with the rebound. Miami in possession with a half minute to go. Wade is fouled by Korver.
Now, give credit where it's due, and that's to Miami's defense. Pat Riley, a guy who has built this organization on the defensive principles, and his team showed its true identity tonight in terms of locking up the opponent, using that team speed, and the lift from Haslam gave them exactly what they needed, just that extra bump off the bench. We know their starters are incredible at the defensive end of the floor. They didn't have any bench help in game 1. They got it from Haslam here in game 2.
What a performance. He played 24 minutes, 5 of 10 from the field, 3 of 3 at the line, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and the usual hustle from Udonis Haslam.
Yeah, and you needed that spark off the bench, and Erik Spoelstra got it. But when this game was tied to 73 all, and you were wondering where the offense was going to come from Miami, LeBron James, a little bit of a cold and all, just put the team on its back.
And this is the style of play we are going to see throughout the series. You both mentioned the word suffocating, and we saw it second half by the Bulls on Sunday night in game 1. We've seen it here tonight from Miami.
And this is exactly where they wanted to be. You know, 1-1, even with the blowout in the opener, doesn't matter. It's 1-1. They don't keep total points in these series. It's just game by game.
Final score, the Miami Heat 85 and the Bulls 75. The owner of the Heat, Mickey Arison, with a big hug of congratulations for Udonis Haslam.
He deserves it. What a tough year it's been for Haslam. What a great night for him tonight.
Miami concludes with a 12-2 run over the last 7 minutes. 9 of those 12 points scored by LeBron James. A terrific finish by LeBron, and he is with Craig.
Well, LeBron, you broke open a game that was tied at 73 all with 9 of your points down the stretch. You took the court yelling, must win, must win. How did you ignite yourself and the team to pull it out at the end?
It's whatever it takes at this point. It's conference finals and 2 hell of a defensive teams, man. It's hard to gather up good shots on a possession after possession after possession, but you have to just be patient, keep working the offense. And we was grateful that we was able to get it something to go down late in the fourth.
We really haven't seen Udonis Haslam since November when he tore that tendon in his foot and had surgery. What were you expecting of him, and what's your reaction what he put up tonight?
Oh, well, I've been telling him in practice he looks great. And, you know, when his number is called, we need you to bring that same spring, that same effort that you had before the injury. He definitely gets the game ball tonight. You know, he came in with his energy and effort, rebounding, finished some plays around the basket, made some shots when they was making a run in the third quarter that really helped us.
You mentioned today that a cold has been sapping your energy. You haven't been sleeping much. How do you feel right now?
Oh, man, you hear my voice? You know, I put it all on the line tonight. Did whatever it took for our team to win. And I'm glad that we got a few days. I'll get back down to that great weather we have in Miami, and hopefully I can get over it before we play Game 3.
You feel you've taken control of the series now?
Nah, it's just started.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Mark.
All right, thank you, Craig. A strong performance down the stretch for LeBron James. What are you guys looking for in Game 3 Sunday night in Miami?
Well, Miami did exactly what they had to tonight. They out-rebounded Chicago, and they held them to 3 for 20 from the three-point line. Those are the areas where Chicago dominated in Game 1.
Well, Chicago's going to have to find their offense. They shot 34%. In Game 1, they were 10 of 21 from beyond the arc, 3 of 20, and they've got to make free throws, especially on the road in a hostile environment. And I agree with LeBron. A series doesn't start until someone else wins on their home court, and it's Miami.
It started.
It has started.
And we did several games involving the Heat in late February and early March, and Eric Spoelstra kept saying he had to control Udonis Haslem. He kept wanting to play, said he was ready, was not ready, but it appeared tonight that he was ready.
And the toughest game to come back is not the first one coming off injury. It's the second one. The first one you live off energy. I'm anxious to see how Haslem responds in Game 3 now that he's back in the loop.
So the series tied at 1. We'll be with you right here on TNT on Sunday night. It all starts 8 o'clock Eastern time with the pregame and tip right around 8:30. Thanks to producer Scott Cockrell, director Renato Lowe, associate directors Bert Bundy and David Olszewski, and our statistician Brian Taylor. 85-75, a victory for the Heat over the Bulls here in Chicago. For Steve Kerr, Reggie Miller, Craig Sager, and the rest of our crew, I'm Marv Albert saying good night from the Windy City. Coming up, it is Inside the NBA. We'll take a quick break, and then it's Ernie Johnson, Kenny Smith, Charles Barkley, and Chris Webber with the studio show right here from Chicago. They were road kill in Game 1, kings of the road in Game 2. The Miami Heat have stolen the home court edge away from the Chicago Bulls in a hard-fought 85-75 Game 2 victory here at the United Center. As we welcome you to Inside the NBA, presented by Hyundai. Orchestration of the cheerleaders by Anthony.
What do you look like, Anthony?
We welcome you, everybody, to Inside the NBA. Ernie Johnson, Chris Webber, Kenny the Jet Smith, and Charles Barkley. I mean, as much as Chicago's defense throttled Miami in Game 1, you've got to give credit to the Miami defense in Game 2. Made things very, very difficult on Derrick Rose.
That was one of the best defensive efforts on both teams I've seen. You don't get any easy baskets. Derrick Rose, they made him take some tough shots. He missed some easy shots. But both of these teams are great defensively. But really the game came down to Udonis Haslem. He gave Miami a great lift. You know, we talked about the difference. The Bulls' big advantage is on the bench. Haslem canceled that out tonight, and that became the difference in the series. A man who played 13 games in the regular season, hadn't really played since November, had no points and no rebounds in 7 minutes in 2 playoff games, and tonight, 13 points, 5 rebounds in 24 minutes on 5 of 10 shooting.
The only reason why I'm surprised, EJ, is because he's been off for so long. But this is what he does, get tough rebounds. He always makes that open jumper. And then after he gets those tough rebounds, he can finish on the break. This is sorely what the Miami Heat needed.
Wow. I mean,
exactly.
The one thing that he would attempt 10 field goals. You know, guys who usually coming back in this situation and they're trying to fit in. They're trying to let me make a play or two. But I think once he got the dunks, it got the confidence going, the adrenaline going, and said, you know what, I could be back. And this is the type of effort they're going to need because no one off that bench has been giving them any kind of productivity up until now.
13 points on the night, and without his contribution, they never tie up this series. Okay, the highlights of this one. And you see Dennis Rodman, who was on hand for a ceremony before the game, and then LeBron James missing the dunk, and Luol Deng not missing. 14-11 was the Miami lead. Talked about Derrick Rose and how tough Miami made it on him. He did have a few buckets, but on the night, Derrick Rose, 7 out of 23 from the floor.
You know, he got some good shots. They blocked the shot a couple times. He got some good shots. He just couldn't make a shot. But they were still, it was a tie game with 4 minutes to go. And LeBron made some great plays. But really, like I say, you got to take your head off to Udonis Haslem.
There's Joakim Noah with starting this play and finishing it.
He's one of the few rare guys in the league that can do this, start a play, block it. The only difference between, to me, the Bulls defense and the Miami defense in that times is there's no shot blocker for the Miami Heat. So typically, the shot blockers come from the guard off of jump shots. They don't come with guys going to the rim very rarely unless it's a fast break. When you go to the lane against Chicago, you get blocked. But this is at the half.
End of the first quarter.
First quarter, rather.
But you know what? Even though this at the end of the first quarter, it seemed like right here, and then when Gibson scored in the fourth quarter was the only time this team really had energy. I was surprised tonight that Chicago just didn't. They were a little lethargic. They didn't come.
You know what? But Steve Kerr talked about a little bit. When Derrick Rose does not play well, it kind of seems like it zaps the energy from the rest of the team. They play great defense, but they're going to be in every game. But if he does not have a good game, they struggle offensively.
You saw LeBron and Dwayne Wade with the connection here from midcourt. Game tied at 32. And then off the turnover.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that they have to get easy baskets off their turnovers when they're struggling offensively. They have to play great defense to get open shots because they're half-court offense at times. When Culver's not making shots or Rose misses his floater, they get in trouble.
LeBron creating for a 48-46 halftime lead. We go to the third, a period in which Miami outscored Chicago 23-19. And there was a huge play. He missed 2 free throws, did LeBron, got his own rebound, and they never trailed after that, after the 52-50 lead.
And look who had the block party. That's Udonis Haslem. He's been doing everything, and then he fills on the break. And when you have Udonis coming in, hitting that open jump shot, then you don't even need to question, do you need an Ilgauskas and his height? When you have him in there rebounding, if Bosh doesn't come through, then you know he can be that solid backup.
Again, Udonis Haslem with all kind of energy on both ends of the floor for the Heat. Huge steal here by LeBron.
And it's a bad foul.
And look at that energy. That just shows you, you wrap him up, you try to get to him as soon as you can.
And one for LeBron.
I'm going to piggyback on something C. Webb said. The Bulls, to me, never play with energy tonight. They never play with energy.
Well, usually with the Euro step again, usually they're the first to the floor. Usually they have deflections. Usually they move people off the post. I think they had great movement on the ball defense, but collectively not the same.
Look at Haslem again with the finish. 67-56. They had an 11-point lead, but Chicago comes back and would eventually tie. Taj Gibson.
He played very well again tonight. Very well. And I tell you, listen, even though the Bulls lost, man, Asik was fantastic also.
Yeah. Before leaving the game with a cut to the chin, and there,
Ernie,
Gibson.
there was 2 fluke plays in this game. That was one of them, and the one when Anthony tipped it into the wrong basket.
Great play right there. Great defense.
Man, that Asik's a big old boy, too.
He keeps his body straight up. You think he's going to get dunked on?
That's just great defense.
Yeah, that's where he took the shot to the chin and would leave, and Dwayne took it to the arm, and they worked like crazy to stop the bleeding on that. So this heavyweight fight getting grisly here in the fourth quarter. LeBron, huge. This is after only a Haslem bucket in the fourth quarter till past the halfway point of the fourth quarter.
And I believe it was after a timeout, because we were looking like that's the play they called after the timeout, but he's so good he can make that and hit that one too.
LeBron making it a 5-point game. Rose
right here
inside. How the heck did that thing go in?
Joel Anthony's out there tipping it in the wrong basket.
And LeBron.
Great. That's just too good, Ernie.
Yep.
Great defense, but better offense.
84-75 on this bucket by James. And the Miami Heat would win it 85-75. How about that fourth quarter? It was like Dolphins and Bears, 14-10. But Miami in a real battle on both ends of the floor. You talk about a grinded-out game, 85-75. Miami over Chicago, so Eric Spoelstra's guys even the series at a game apiece as it goes to Miami for games 3 and 4. Here's Eric Spoelstra.
They were, in mid-season. But 2 days ago before practice, I talked with him, and there was something, a look in his eye that I knew it was time. Players will tell you always that they're ready and they can help, but I've been through a lot of battles with that Warrior, and knew that was the time to plug him in. I wasn't anticipating this many minutes. It was going to be a couple short bursts. We got in so much foul trouble in the first quarter that he had to play extended minutes, more than we wanted him to. But some guys you can't define what's inside them, and he was able to really give us a boost when we got in foul trouble.
Hey, Eric, first row here. Let's talk about the way.
All right, Eric Spoelstra's live post-game thoughts as
LeBron James and D. Wade.
Well, thank God for foul trouble if he wasn't going to play that guy.
33 points they combined for in Game 1, and in Game 2 they better that by 20. Let's go to Craig Sager live.
Thanks, EJ. With Udonis Haslem, who gave the Miami Heat a tremendous lift. We basically haven't seen you play since November. How surprised are you that you were that effective?
Coach just told me to stay ready. I'm just thankful to the men upstairs. It's been a long road back, and I didn't know what I was going to be able to bring, but I was just happy that I was able to contribute to a win.
Once you got out there and were effective, they left you out there 23 minutes. Were you surprised he started the fourth quarter and still had something left?
Yeah. I didn't know what I was going to bring. I thought it maybe 10, 15 minutes at the most, but Coach left me out there, and for the first time in my life, I was kind of happy to come out the game at the end. I was out of gas.
Well, how happy are you now that you're part of this team again and part of this rotation and perhaps the deciding factor in what happens?
Very happy. These contributions that I made tonight would mean nothing if we didn't get a victory. So, first and foremost, I'm just happy we got the win, and secondly, I was happy I was able to contribute to the win.
All right, thanks a lot. Welcome back. Back to you, EJ.
All right, thank you very much, Segs. This is what we've been doing all night since we came on the air and talked about those key categories of Game 1 that Chicago dominated. Tonight, 18-12 in second chance points in favor of Chicago. The bench, 20-17, so Miami closes the gap in both of those categories. And Miami actually out-rebounded Chicago, 45-41, just the second time in this postseason the Bulls have been out-rebounded in a playoff game. They did have 17 offensive boards to 10 for Miami, but this was a game in which Miami's defense bottled up Derrick Rose, made things really tough. LeBron and Wade did their thing, combined for a lot of points. And then there was that X factor in Udonis Haslem who helped them get it done.
Well, both of the teams going to play great defense. And from game to game, it's going to be a fluctuating situation on the benches. I actually think whoever benches plays the best is going to win this series. I think Chicago has a better bench. But tonight, the best player on the bench was Udonis Haslem. And that was, to me, the key to the game because LeBron played great. D. Wade played well. But the X factor, and let me tell you something, the Bulls did not prepare for Udonis Haslem to come in and play that well.
And what he did was he was the Taj Gibson for the Miami Heat. He gave them extra possessions. He had three offensive rebounds. Then he played great defense, and he blocked shots. So he was that factor that you say when Miami was typically substituting, they were substituting older, slower, and couldn't get back. And then all of a sudden, that's the guy who hasn't been there all year, who's been the energy guy, young enough, and he makes them a little bit more athletic. Because they've been saying that they're one of the most athletic teams in basketball. They're not.
Yeah.
With him, they become more athletic and possibly one of the more athletic teams in the NBA.
Yeah, and the only thing, though, if I'm Chicago, I'm saying I know all of your best shots. I know you got two of the best players in the world. They could score 50 at any time. Now I've seen your surprise in Haslem. Now we're going to get back, and we're not going to have any more surprises. Because, like you said, Haslem was the best off the bench, but Chicago's bench is clearly better. Yes. So Haslem going to have to do this every night. And I think Chicago should feel to themselves that, wow, if we would have came out with more energy, and next game, if we pay attention to Haslem, we'll be okay.
And one thing that really helps them is they don't play again until Sunday. So, first of all, Haslem's going to sleep good. He's going to sleep good. But it's really beneficial to him to have the rest of the week off before they play the next game.
Yeah, enjoy it before Game 3 because from that point on, it's every other day, and we will see how that plays out. 85-75 the final. Moments ago, Chris Bosh talking to Craig Sager about the fourth quarter.
You guys dominated the fourth quarter with 14 points compared to their 10. How difficult was it to score out there?
Man, it was a grind. I mean, that's what it's going to be like. I mean, we're the two best defensive teams in the league, and you just have to stay in it mentally and just continue to get good shots, and you can't let your offense dictate your defense. I mean, we missed some shots, but we kept concentrating on contesting their shots and getting the rebound when we stopped them.
It's only 1-1, but you kind of feel like maybe you took control of the series here, now going back to Miami with home court?
Well, absolutely. Home court is the most important thing. We've protected home court all postseason. So, we're really looking forward to going back home, and we hope that Miami will be ready, too.
All right, thanks a lot. Back to you, EJ.
All right, thank you very much, Craig. Game 3 here on TNT Sunday in Miami. When we come back, we'll shift our focus to the Western Conference Finals. You'll be hearing from Cheryl Miller on the night that Dirk had in Game 1 against OKC. It's one for the books.